Hey everybody, and welcome to our Greene Acres. Come along with me today, y'all, as I take some decor items and I'm going to give them a new look. So we're going to take these items, give them a makeover. A lot of these came from Goodwill, my favorite thrift store. The first thing I'm going to upcycle is going to be this tall floral can. I paid $4.99 for it. I'm going to take this beautiful new stencil I got, and I will have it linked down below. This is a beautiful one to have for spring and also summertime. I'm going to stencil using some white linen chalk paint, but you could also use whatever color that you want for your stencil. I thought about painting this little floral can, but I decided to leave it its original state and use some white chalk paint and just add a really pretty spring detail to the front. And this stencil was perfect. When you're working and stenciling on something that's round, just work in sections and hold the stencil down as best you can with your fingers and just lightly apply your paint. You don't want to overload the paint on your paintbrush. Just kind of dab off some and then just work in sections and hold it down really good to avoid bleeding.
I miss you so bad, won't you come back to me? I've got you in my head, you're all that I see. I've lost all my chances, I know that I am too late.
The next decor piece that I'm going to upcycle are going to be these 3 candle holders. Candle holders, a lot of times you can find these at thrift stores at very affordable prices. So I'm going to take these beautiful wood ones. They've got a kind of a shiny like varnish on them and a stain. I don't really like this. Some of them, they kind of look a little bit orangey. So I went back and forth. Did I want to paint them? What did I want to do to them to give them a new look? Well, I'm going to take them and I'm going to use some Easy Off. Now this says fume free, but I would also recommend to wear a mask because this stuff is strong. It is a chemical. I'm going to spray these in my big garden tub that's in my bathroom. I did turn the fan on in the bathroom just to make sure my room was well ventilated, and then I sprayed each one really well and just let this set for at least 30 minutes. I took a little toothbrush. I wanted to work down in those little grooves and little nooks and crannies on the candlesticks, and I just scrubbed them. And as you can see, some of that varnish is in my bathtub. This did not stain my bathtub in any way. So I rinsed them off really well, and now here's what they look like after one process. I am going to do it again. Sometimes you have to do the process twice to really get the look you're going for. So I repeated the process. I sprayed them down again. I let them set for 30 minutes. This time I'm going to take a bigger brush. I'm going to add some Dawn dish soap, and I'm going to scrub each one. I'm just going to scrub each one really good. Then I'm going to put it under the water, and I'm going to rinse off each one really well. The desired look we're going for here is just more of a bleached raw wood look. So I'm just rinsing each one. I'm making sure that I remove all that soap and all that Easy Off. And once I do, I'm going to take a soft rag and I'm going to wipe down each one really well. I'm going to get as much of the water off as I can. Then I'll set them up, let them dry overnight. You will not get the finished effect until they are completely dry. But now look how beautiful they look. Now you could take some white wax or even some clear wax and you could go over them and coat them again with that. And the white wax will get in those little nooks and crannies just to kind of bring out that detail if you want to take it to another step.
Now it's too late. I know it's too late. I'm out of time, but I'm still thinking of you.
Now here's a piece right here. I see a lot of times at thrift stores or pieces like this, but this one I actually got at a yard sale and I paid $1 for it. It is a metal like planter, but you can always upcycle these, put these inside and put some beautiful florals and greenery in them for spring and summer. So I'm just going to go over it, give it a couple of coats of some Rust-Oleum flat white paint. Then once it's dry, I'm going to bring it inside. This project's going to be really easy. I'm not even going to distress it, but I am going to add a beautiful transfer to the front. This one is a beautiful transfer. I'll try to link it down below, but I had these birds and I always have scrap transfers laying around and I try to use them up on my projects whenever I can. So I'm just going to apply that to the front and now this piece will be done.
place way there in all the colors. Summer love.
Y'all know I love to use scrap wood pieces, and I like to reuse them. Once you enjoy it one way, you can always go back, freshen it up, and change it up and make something else out of it. And that's what I'm doing with this piece of wood. I've already upcycled both sides, enjoyed it. Now I'm going to take a beautiful piece of decoupage paper. I painted over that stencil that I had on it just so I'll have a fresh white background. And now I'm going to cut out these birds, and I'm going to place it on the board where I want it. And I'll make sure to link the website of where I get all my beautiful decoupage paper from. Now I'm just using DIY liquid patina, and I'm just applying it in sections. I'm working the bottom, getting it down really well, smoothing it out with my fingers, and then I'll go to the top, apply it with the liquid patina, smooth it down, and then I usually always, my final process is I usually roll over it with my brayer, because that way it gets out a lot of that excess decoupage medium, and it pushes it out to the edges, and it also works out the majority of your wrinkles or your bubbles. Now I'm just taking my little finger sander. I have this little tool linked in my Amazon store, and it is a wonderful tool to have. I'm just going around all the edges, just kind of roughing them up, making this decoupage paper look like it is made into the wood. Now very lightly, I'm going to go around all the edges using some dark wax.
Folded on the lawn chair in all the colors. Summer love. Remember when we were getting nowhere fast, when the garden won't stop giving back. Honeysuckle, fresh cut grass.
Another item to be on the lookout for at the thrift stores and yard sales is board games. This Scrabble piece right here is a vintage set, and I got it at Goodwill for $2. This one is not as old, but I got it at a yard sale for $1.50. The little game stands that come in these games are natural wood, but you could always paint these, or you could stain them just to add a little bit more detail to them. And look at all the letters you get. And a lot of these letters, you get several of them. So you can spell out, really you can spell out just about any word you want to. And this right here is a great detailed piece to put in your vignettes for all the seasons. This game right here, I want to show you the copyrights on it. So this is a really old one, so I loved it when I found this one. Now, if you don't score one of these vintage or one of these games, you can get these at Dollar General. These right here, I think, are $1 in their craft section. These right here, I actually picked up at Goodwill for 99 cents. So just be on the lookout for these little Scrabble tiles. These make great decor pieces just to add a little bit of detail to all your vignettes. Another cute decor piece that I found that would be perfect for spring and summer is this little birdhouse. I paid $2.99 for it, but as you can see, it is perfect the way it is. I'm not going to do anything to it. It's got a neat hollowed out top to where you could very easily add some florals or some greenery, and that's what I'm going to do. Since the front is open, you can kind of see the faux stems of these little baby's breath. So I'm going to take it's called a bouquet wrap. I got this at Hobby Lobby on the wedding aisle, and it fastens with Velcro. So you just wrap it around the stems of your florals, and it will just attach itself using the little Velcro that's on it. So look for these on the wedding aisle at Hobby Lobby, and wrap these around the stems of your florals if you want to add just another level of detail. And also, I get a lot of questions about these baby's breath and where I got these. I got these at Hobby Lobby, and make sure to always go on half off day when they have their florals, and you can get these at a really good deal.
Memories washed in every shade of green in all the colors. Summer love.
Another great item that I scored at Goodwill is this wooden box. It's got a lot of beautiful ornate detail to it, and I paid $4.99 for it. As you can see, it's got some pretty clean cloth on the interior, so I won't do anything to it. It does have some damage on the side because it's got a piece of trim missing, but I'm just going to add some paint to it, and I'm just going to kind of camouflage that as I style it. Sometimes when you have an item and it may have a flaw like this, it's hard to make repairs on some things, and that trim had some ornate detail to it, so it would be really hard to match up a piece of trim. So I'm just going to go ahead, go with it like it is, but just to show you how you can take a defective piece, but when you style it, you can always kind of camouflage it and nobody will ever know. So I just chalk painted it, gave it a couple of layers, and then I just added a beautiful transfer to the top, and that was all I did. And of course, I'm just going to put those beautiful little baby's breath up there in the corner, and it kind of lays over that little flawed side. So just another little styling technique. If something has maybe a defect, still pick it up, because you can still use it even though it's damaged. Here's some more inspiration for this box, because I kept looking at it thinking, what would it look like if we distressed it back a little? So I'm just taking a really worn sanding block. I love this because it's great to use for kind of fragile things that I don't want to get, a really hard sandpaper after. I just really want to go over it very gently. So that sanding block is really worn, so it's perfect just to kind of go over and rough up some of this detail on this little box. I tried to get the little metal ornate pieces that are on, and then I also went around some of the wood around on the trim, and I used a baby wipe to kind of help, wipe back some of that too. So I'm just giving you more ideas and inspiration of what it would look like if we went back and we distressed it a little bit. So here it is, distressed.
That's sure something I could use. A cure for the air conditioned blues. Could use some too. A little bit of sunlight.
Here's a fun, unique piece to look for at thrift stores and yard sales, and you may have some of these in your kitchen, and that is old pot lids. Pot lids make great character pieces to add to your vignettes. Not only do they have, just character and uniqueness, but you can also put a little embellishment on them and just give them a little bit more detail. That is so much fun. I took some transfers out of the IOD spring release, and this transfer book is called Lover of Flowers. It is absolutely one of my favorite transfer books. I have used some of these transfers on so many projects here lately, and I still have a ton left. But I just went through and I just cut out one of the florals in the book that I felt would match the colors of the lid and would fit on the side of the lid the best. Then I just went in, add the little writing that was included with the floral, and I just applied it up under the little handle of the pot. Just a fun, unique piece. Be on the lookout for these at thrift stores and yard sales this summertime. Pick these up, go home, embellish them, have fun with them, and set them out in your decor. After I did that pot lid, I thought I had a couple more, and sure enough I did. I went out and went through my supplies, and I found these two. And like I say, I have just picked these up along the way because, when I find things like this, it's hard for me to pass them up. So I always get them because usually these are like 50 cents or $1. So it is so hard to pass them up, but I do buy them, I bring them home, and I save them. And now I am so glad I did. So here is just a little bit more inspiration and ideas of how you can add some extra detail to these pot lids if you see these out while you're out at the thrift store. Okay, y'all, we are at the end of the video. It goes by fast, the time I get to spend with y'all. But I hope y'all enjoyed seeing the things that I picked up at the thrift stores and yard sales and how I made over them. And I hope you'll try some of these projects. Make sure to go over and join me on all the social media platforms. And also, I want to thank all of y'all for submitting Bible verses down in the comments. Please keep your Bible verses coming in the comments. I love reading them, and I know everyone else is enjoying them and reading them too. I hope all of y'all have a blessed week, and I plan to see y'all again next week. So make sure you are subscribed to my channel and click on that bell so you'll get notified when I upload my next one. As always, I love y'all, and I will see y'all again soon.